At Google, one of the things I value with my team is called psychological safety. Empathy fuels connection. Sympathy drives disconnection. Hi, I'm Lance Resco. This is a short highlight from the Intent Talks Live. The channel was created to inspire you to turn your intention into action. How happy are you?
What would you do if you only have 1 month left to live?
Self-love.
Stay connected.
Quality time is actually to spend time with family.
Hello everyone, I'm now in Thailand. My first holiday since COVID. It's such a beautiful day, so I decided to do our live session outdoor. Please bear the background noise, but I just want to enjoy the sun. There is a beautiful story about a 9-year-old child whose next door neighbor is an elderly gentleman who just lost his wife. The little boy walked to the elder man's garden and sat beside him. When the boy's mother asked what he said to the neighbor, the little boy said, "Nothing. I just helped him cry." That's empathy. Empathy is our ability to experience and understand how the other person is feeling. In other words, empathy is saying, "I feel with you." Now imagine a world where all the leaders, whether in politics or corporate, can listen more, embrace our diversity, and see the universal human basic values that binds us together. Imagine a world where every workplace enables everyone to be their authentic selves. And imagine a world where all families are safe haven for us to show our vulnerabilities without the fear of being judged. At Google, one of the most popular leadership courses I teach is Search Inside Yourself. When I ask participants what are the qualities of the great leaders who have made the biggest impact in their lives, empathy emerges as among the top qualities. So let's play a short poll here. True or false? First, empathy is sympathy. In our chat box, kindly respond to the poll. I love the sound of the birds. Well, 90% of you answered false. You're right. Brene Brown says, empathy fuels connection. Sympathy drives disconnection. Empathy is feeling with the other person. Last year, I lost 3 loved ones to COVID. And the worst thing I've heard is, "I'm sorry for your loss, Lance. You may not see it now, but there's a reason for everything." While it's said with good intention to comfort someone who is grieving, the best you can do is hold that space and simply be there, making the other person feel that he or she is not alone. Now let's go to our second poll. Empathy is problem solving. True or false? I can see that the vote is quite split, waiting for the final poll. Yes, it's 50-50 split. Now, while it's good to help the other person find a solution, it's better to first ask, how can I help? At Google, one of the things I value with my team is called psychological safety. They can express not only what they think, but also how they feel. When someone shares with me a difficult situation, I usually ask, do you want me to help solve the problem? Or do you want me to simply listen? More often, they just want to feel heard. And that's my cue to listen without judgment, be a sounding board, or even be a shoulder to cry on. By holding that safe space, I empower them to process and reflect the situation and start seeing other possibilities and come up with your own solution. Our last poll. Empathy is agreeing. True or false? Well, most of you said yes. Well, empathy does not necessarily mean agreeing. It is possible to understand the other person and still respectfully disagree. As leaders, we often have to make tough decisions. Now, real understanding is listening to others while also sharing our views. When the person feels heard and understood, the person will most likely respect your decision even if he or she thinks differently. Here's our first question from our comment box. How do you build empathy? Thanks, Gary. Self-awareness leads to empathy. For me to feel with you, I have to connect with something deep inside me that allows me to also experience and understand how you feel. Self-awareness is the foundation of emotional intelligence, and building that muscle enables us to connect with others in a deeper and more meaningful way. Now, there's one thing I would like you to remember. If you're not kind to yourself, it's not easy to be kind to others. A question from Chris. How do I protect my energy and not feel emotionally drained while listening to someone's pain? Thank you for your honesty. I'm just curious, how many of you felt the same way as Chris? A lot of us. Now, part of self-awareness is being able to maintain that clear discernment about our own feelings while noticing the other person's feelings and perspective. As part of our self-care, we create an objective distance to see the bigger picture while maintaining our connection with the other person. We show up committed, 100% present, but we also need to wear our oxygen mask first if we want to be effective in helping others. So discernment is about creating that healthy space without getting caught up in the storm. Now let's turn our inspiration into action. In our chat box, write, what's one thing you'll do to practice more empathy? Susan says, before dismissing my husband when he comes home stressed and talks about his bad day at work, I will suspend my judgment and let him finish his story. I'll then name the emotion he's feeling and check in if I heard him well. Thank you, Susan. That's great practice of empathy. James says, in my team meetings, I will make sure everyone feels heard. There's a pressure for us to conform and agree, but someone may think differently. And I want to create a safe space for us to practice empathy amidst our diversity. I love that. Listening builds trust, and culture is how we show up every day at work. There's a great article in Harvard Business Review called Connect with Empathy, but Lead with Compassion. After I edit this live session, I'll add the link below this video for those of you who are watching this after our live session. I personally like how they illustrate the difference between sympathy, empathy, and compassion. According to Rasmus Hugard and Jacqueline Carter, it is helpful to consider two distinct qualities: understanding how the other person is feeling and our willingness to act to support. At the bottom left, we have pity. I feel sorry for you. Moving up to the right, we experience sympathy. I feel for you. Moving up one more level, we come to empathy. With empathy, I feel with you. And finally, to the top right hand is compassion. I am here to help you. Beyond empathy, compassion is an intention more than an emotion. Compassion is what drives our inspired action. Thank you for allowing me to serve you today. In our next session, we'll deep dive into compassion. And before that, I highly recommend reading the book Compassionate Leadership: How to Do Hard Things in a Human Way, also by Rasmus Sugard and Jacqueline Carter. Remember one thing: life is more delicious when we are more conscious.